All right. Test.
Test.
Test. What do you call it again?
Convincing idiots.
Convincing idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got to hold poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Awesome.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Like rock and roll. And then 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2.
welcome back to Convincing Idiots. We're going to mix it up here a little bit here. We'll talk more comic book stuff in the next segment here, Dean. So we were talking a lot about your exciting trip to downtown Cleveland, Ohio this past weekend to see the ballet at Playhouse Square. Another main attraction of downtown Cleveland, as we know, is it is home to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do you know why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is in Cleveland, by the way?
Yes, I do. It's because that is where, what's his name? The famous DJ,
Alan Freed.
Alan Freed, coined the term. I mean, this story goes. Nobody's 100% sure if it actually happened, but the story and the legend goes is that he coined the phrase rock and roll on the air here in Cleveland. Moondog Night or something was the name of the show.
That's right.
If I remember correctly, and he was a promoter also, not only just an on-air DJ, but he was a promoter of rock and roll shows. Like if you ever saw the Buddy Holly story or the La Bamba, those shows, Alan Freed is one of the characters. He's the guy on stage in La Bamba introducing all of the acts, and those acts would go around all these cities, and he was a promoter of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so Alan Freed, which unfortunately didn't get the credit, and it is actually a sad story. He ended up dying poor and sad and alone. It's a sad story.
Oh boy, but yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, which you're right, and he is definitely immortalized in the Rock Hall. So he, definitely made his mark on rock and roll, and then, like you said, it's known as being the first quote unquote rock and roll concert promoted by Alan Freed in Cleveland. So that's how we got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So. Every year, as most people know, they have inductees into the Rock Hall. Always, just like any type of Hall of Fame, sports, whatever, you're going to have people that agree or disagree. One of the odd things about the Rock,
I do actually want to commend you. Not many shows, not many podcasts you're going to hear do a segue from a ballet into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
There you go.
Well done.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's been, I don't know if it's a bad rap necessarily, I don't know, but it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But some of the artists that go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are not necessarily known for singing rock and roll music. So basically, it's just become a music Hall of Fame, if you will. Pop music, rap music.
I have an argument.
Most genres are there. Not necessarily country, but we'll talk about that with one of the inductees this year.
I can defend it.
Go ahead.
Rock and roll is and started as a combination. It's not its own sound. Rock and roll was a blend of old Southern blues music and R&B and country music. It's a combination. It's a collaboration, and that's where it stemmed from. Elvis Presley, if he played today, would be considered country.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
all right. Yeah, it's maybe. Yeah,
Some of his songs, not all of them, but some of them, especially his early stuff.
that's true.
And then
Yeah.
his later stuff would be considered gospel.
Sure.
There's only that small meat and potatoes of him that is rock and roll, but he started from blues and bluegrass, and he had and this is the king of rock and roll. So when I think rock and roll, and you induct who we're going to talk about, Eminem, he is a product of just one side of rock and roll. So that's why I'm okay with the different genres, because rock and roll isn't its own thing. Rock and roll is a combination of a few different sounds. So to me, that's why I'm okay with the other genres being in.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, let's keep talking about Eminem while you mentioned him already. So,
Yep.
So you already kind of worthy to be in there.
Yes, because what? All right, let's look at the Football Hall of Fame. Why do people get into the Football Hall of Fame?
You're known for being great in your role, in your position,
Right.
your contributions.
And some of the greats, not only were they great in their position, but they transformed the game. They put out on the field something that nobody else could, and that's what Eminem did. Eminem was I don't want to say pioneer is not the word I'm looking for. He took it to another level. He definitely changed the game. He brought a new something to the genre itself. So I think that's why Eminem is worthy.
Yeah, I'll give you all that. Your video went out for a second, sir.
It's because I got low battery.
Okay. All right.
So
okay. No, I give you all that. Yeah, I'm not a huge rap fan per se, but when I do listen to him, I could tell. Listen, this guy is talented. He can, like I say, definitely brought a whole other style and everything to the genre. So yeah, no issues there. This class here too. Now this is from my generation, Gen X. These are some artists that were huge in the 80s, and going back to the original, the MTV era in the early 80s, a lot of these stars were just absolutely mega stars on MTV with the videos and the music they were putting out at the time here. So it's good to see a lot of these bands get in here. So we had the woman who had she was the first female artist to have a video on MTV. It was the second played video on MTV after the Buggles. Pat Benatar and her husband Neil Giraldo, the guitar player. Really, I don't know if he's necessarily underrated, but maybe, in my opinion, when you talk about iconic guitar players that come out of that era, you may not think of Neil Giraldo at the top, within the amongst the best, but he is a terrific guitar player. Her voice and inspiration with her style and everything was, definitely something huge in the 80s. I guarantee a lot of women, in my generation, when they were in middle school and early high school, probably had a Pat Benatar haircut at the time, influenced by Pat Benatar. Matter of fact, I think it was a reference on, I think maybe you mentioned this before, on Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You had the Pat Benatar crowd, the Pat Benatar girls was a whole style and look that they referred to in that movie.
Maybe fishnet stockings type deal.
Yeah, just a rocker chick, badass leather pants, and just the basic, feathered haircut, that she had back at that was popular for your days for girls. So, and just a huge booming voice. I've seen her live before. Matter of fact, they're coming to Akron very soon here. I think maybe even this month or next month, the Goodyear Theater over in East Akron there. So
okay,
yeah, great live show. About time she got in. Any thoughts on Pat Benatar?
Exactly what you said. I mean, that is what Pat Benatar is exactly what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is for.
Yes,
what she did for females in rock and roll is, she's up there with the rest of them, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's there's a lot on this list that I'm very surprised. That I was very surprised to know that they weren't in it.
Right. Yes, I agree.
And she is one of them. Like Pat Benatar's not in the rock and roll already. That's weird.
Yeah.
Just like the next one. Here we can go back and forth. Are you looking at
Please go ahead.
Are you rock and roll hall of fame.com? Okay, so we have probably the same list here. All right, I'm going to go the infectious melodies of this complicated musical arrangements and pioneering synthesizers. Distorted glam rock guitars. That is Duran Duran.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when I first saw these guys, now they were also known for huge videos at the time, and
it's one of the first videos I remember. Like their videos were up there, like you said, in the pioneering days of MTV. So that alone makes them stand out in my mind, at least. I mean, they were a little older for me because, in my, I'm 10 years your youth. So, you might, you see them in a little different light. I still love and respect them, but I don't have that probably affinity for them as I do, maybe some of the other ones. So.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing these guys at first, and as a young, teenager, it's like, look at these pretty boys and all that. But you quickly realize these guys are Simon LeBlanc, sing his ass off, exactly right. And musically, some of the most talented musicians of any band that came out of the 80s, especially talking, I had John Taylor, the bass guitar player. This guy is one of the best bass guitar players maybe ever, frankly. So if you go back and listen to their riffs, just listen to this guy. The bass riffs were difficult. He's also known for writing a lot of music for others. A couple of the guys went on and did that band with Robert Palmer that had a couple of big hits as well that in the 80s. But anyway, just super talented group. Glad to see them get in. They're still touring today, actually.
And I mean, I guess we already did Eminem, so you want to go to the next one? And we don't have to go to all of them. There's some that I don't know that we can skip over, but we just hit the big ones here.
With the big ones here, your Eurythmics.
Yep.
Again, that's another group that was surprising. It took so long to get in there. Annie Lennox, the singer of the Eurythmics. We're talking some of the all-decade songs. You're going to have at least a few from the Eurythmics on it. Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. Is definitely
when
you're talking about all 80s list.
That's one of those where you have like Sweet Dreams was covered by Marilyn Manson. I mean, when you're being covered, they don't do it. They're not Weird Al Yankovic. They're doing it because they appreciate and love your song. So, and they're like, wow, I need to get in this, and I think I could really. So I think that it's that alone shows just the impact that they had. If current rock bands are wanting to cover them, they're not parodying, they're covering, which is the best form of flattery. Is
copying is the best.
Yes,
imitation
is the best form of flattery.
That's right.
Wow, I'm an idiot.
So many podcasts, Dean, copy us.
That's right.
So, Annie Lennox, one of the greatest pop rock singers, period, ever.
Yep,
hands down.
Next, and this is why I wanted to have this discussion, so I can talk about the legendary, the amazing, the incomparable Dolly Parton.
Yes,
this woman. Someday they're going to make a movie about her life. She not only on camera and off camera or mic or whatever you want to call it, but I mean, she wrote some of the most iconic songs. And once again, look at the covers. I Will Always Love You.
Yes,
was huge with Whitney Houston. Huge with Whitney Houston, but she wrote and originally sang it. Jolene. Go to YouTube and type in Jolie cover.
Mhm.
I love that song so much, and I love the way she sings it. But I'm going to give it up. Jack White from the White Stripes. Google Jack White sings Jolene.
Okay.
Jolene is beautiful. It's haunting. It's yeah. Jack White doing Jolene, but Dolly Parton, as a kid, and I think I talked about this on the show. She was part of my formative years, shall I say? Because I learned, my dad didn't have to talk with me. He didn't talk about sex and son, this is a female body. No, I learned through kind of quasi jokes. And one thing that I remember as a kid is Dolly Parton has big casabas.
Mm-hmm.
That was the term, and it's always stuck with me. She was like my first sex symbol. Even before Lonnie Anderson and Marky Post, she was one of my first sex symbols because she's a beautiful woman. Even at however old she is, I won't even say it because women don't disclose her age, especially classy women like that. So I won't even guess. But she still looks amazing.
Sure.
And during this COVID thing, she is actually has a good hand in we have the immunization, the COVID shots.
Yep.
Because she put like her own money up for the research and the development of the shots. So Dolly Parton is a goddamn treasure, and we are all lucky that she is here with us.
Yeah.
So
I agree. So if you had a Mount Rushmore of female
vocalists,
yes, period,
he's on there, hands down.
Yep.
And the headshot goes a little bit down with her cleavage. God bless you, Dolly Parton.
Yeah, you're right. So all the things you said, I agree with, and she just, we had talked about it. I didn't what episode? It might have been the same episode where Nick had a anti-Semitic commentary. I think it might have been.
Search for it, guys.
Yeah, but we talked about, I think it was an organic conversation of celebrities that we would like to just hang out with. Nothing weird, nothing sexual, none of that stuff.
Nope.
Dolly Parton was on our list of celebrities that we just thought would be cool.
I just want to have a beer with her.
Yeah, sit at a bar and just listen to stories for hours and hours and hours. And she had to have a sense of humor about. I mean, she knew what she looked like. She was a beautiful woman. She was very shapely, and she knew how to handle that. She was in the movie with 9 to 5. Come on, she's a movie star too. That's right. Yeah, terrific artist all the way around. A lot of fun and still doing a lot of great things. Matter of fact, she'll be starring Dean in a new musical. Speaking of musicals, this is making the news right now.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
A TikTok musical to celebrate the triumphant return of the Mexican pizza at Taco Bell. So that's the big news right now, that Dolly Parton will be starring in this TikTok musical. That's the world we live in right there. But that's okay.
You know what? I am going to go get a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell just because Dolly Parton tells me to.
That's exactly right. A lot of people will. Okay. All right. The next guy is another. Go ahead.
Did you feel that? The rumbling?
Again?
It's the most now. I mean, it's shaking. The floor, the earth is shaking because the Leafs just won.
Oh, my goodness. So they're up 3-2?
Somebody should get Nick out of the bathtub and tell him that the Leafs won. Because he's probably not watching because he's washing with that dog.
That's great. So they're up 3-2. That's great.
Yep.
Okay, this next guy, again, another 80s absolute powerhouse.
Icon.
Still, like Dolly Parton, is still very prominent in the pop culture world today as a judge on American Idol, who does a great job there. Lionel Richie started out as with the Commodores, and Commodores had, obviously, mega group in the 70s.
It's almost criminal that he's not in it.
It's strange, isn't it? Yeah. His songs, wasn't necessarily my favorite type of music necessarily, but he could sing his ass off. Super
I
talented.
I
Another
was
guy
such a
could write.
fan as a kid, especially.
Yeah, another guy could write songs. He's written
Yeah.
songs for one of your favorites, Kenny Loggins. I almost said Kenny Rogers.
Because they were like so close, like they were almost best friends. I mean, they were
Yeah.
so close, professionally and personally. So there's a special place there for Lionel Richie.
Yeah, absolutely. And the videos on MTV were just like I said, huge, huge, huge. Dancing on the Ceiling, tons and tons of hits.
How weird and incredible was "Hello, is it me, yo?" I can't sing it because we get kicked off YouTube, but that video, it took like 20 minutes just to even get to the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like was she blind or something like that? I don't remember, but I know it was weird.
Yeah, super talented dude. And he made a cameo. He made a cameo in the Foo Fighters movie. We thought was hilarious, by the way, too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go again. Another one it's weird that she's not in Carly Simon. They're not.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say, but she's one of those that writing, singing, songwriting, just pure talent. Very iconic for the time. It's weird that she's not in there. But she is now.
Yes, that's right. You're Sylvain, one of the most. That's an all '70s decade song for sure. And then a lot of stuff she did with her former husband. No, I can't think of his name right now.
I don't think I know his name.
Anyway, it's okay.
I mean, I probably do if I heard it, but
that's okay.
All right. What about the next one there? That's all you, buddy.
It is about time, I'll say, from a 80s, from a heavy metal enthusiast like myself. So not many heavy metal bands have gotten into the Rock Hall that are true heavy metal. Black Sabbath, they get in there. Ozzy's in there as a solo artist. Alice Cooper has now gotten in there. But, one of the heavier bands finally got their just due. Judas Priest, not as a performing act, but as a musical, for their musical talent, if you will. But that's fine. We'll take it. So Judas Priest, one of the greatest heavy metal bands of all time.
Absolutely.
Hands down. Rob Halford is one of the, if you're talking, again, another Mount Rushmore of, when we talked about this, actually, we had on our actual episode, we talked about our Mount Rushmores of heavy metal or hard rock vocalists or whatever.
Yes.
Rob Halford is unequivocally on that Mount Rushmore, one of the greatest heavy metal singers of all time. His range is phenomenal. His vocals are flawless.
Yep.
Even now, they're still out there performing. Their hits, but if you go back and really listen to a lot of their deep cuts, these guys have a lot of great music that has definitely influenced many others. So again, also good for Britain to get a hard rock band into the U.S. Rock Hall. So one of my favorite bands of all time, hands down, Judas Priest.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. We're going to skip a few here. I mean, there's some that I don't know,
fine.
But I'm going to go to this gentleman again. Every accolade that comes his way is ridiculously appropriate, and there should be more. What he's done throughout his life and his career. If there's statues made, it should be of this gentleman. He may not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Aaron Blake is definitely in my Life Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And Aaron Blake of Blake Insurance. Oh boy, people, let me tell you, Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, tell him that these idiots right here convinced you to give him a call.
That's right. I bet Aaron would have known the answer that Carly Simon was married to James Taylor. So,
Oh yeah, he
like,
definitely knew that.
folk rock.
Aaron knows
icon,
everything.
James Taylor. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But everything I did say about Aaron Blake, a lot of it does pertain to Harry Belafonte. How in the fuck is Harry Belafonte not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Right.
It just, I mean, from not only just the musically, but like everything that he's given as an actor, as an activist, as, you know, the songwriting that he did.
See, that's where it's where it gets a little. You get to the debates because some of these guys like him are known for doing other things beyond just their musical career. So sometimes you can sort of, if you're looking at overall, exactly.
Deo.
That's right. Beetlejuice would not be the same without that.
Thank you.
That song.
There
Yes.
you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But anyway, yeah, good stuff. Glad he got it finally.
But that his I always look forward to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. I'm glad this class is who they are. I'm quite pleased. There's nobody that it doesn't deserve it, even Elizabeth Cotton. So, congratulations to all.
That's right. Put Devo in Rock Hall, Akron Institution Devo. Put them in sometime. They missed cut the last couple of years. Also, put an Iron Maiden for crying out loud.
I'm going Jack White. Jack White, it's his turn. Also,
yeah. We'll see.
If you have Eminem in there, Jack White. And I mean Eminem as in timing, not talent, but at timing, Jack White needs to be in there.
Yeah. Next year, I want to see Devo and Iron Maiden. Okay. Other artists got in, well deserved, like you say. No one a disappointment. A lot of about times, like you said before. So, okay, good stuff, sir.
We're going to take one more break.
Yep, that's right. We'll take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk about more comic book stuff. So again, then we'll come back and talk about comic book artists who passed away, a couple other things. So, okay.
Come back, nerds.
All right. Be back in just a moment.
Hey, did you like that video? You know you did, and we know you did. So stop screwing around and go like that video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for some more.